Chief, right off the bat, talk to me about what might be one of the top priorities as why two jurisdictions like the two here in Genesee County would want to merge.
Well, consolidating police departments creates a lot of advantages, and there are advantages that I think perhaps people don't necessarily consider. One of the big advantages is over time, and hopefully even in the beginning, money can be saved. If you just look at some of the simple approaches of taking two police departments that are currently housed in two buildings with two chiefs of police, their cadre of people and equipment, and consolidating that under one roof, you can understand that the savings can occur pretty quickly. But some of the other advantages that are very important is simply a continuity of training, continuity of supervision, continuity of department policy. So you have a larger group of people working under one set of rules, which in the long run diminishes the possibility of diminishes your liability and can save costs.
You have at least a half a dozen of municipalities in your regional group. What does it mean to any one of them as a civilian to have a regional police force, a consolidated police force?
Well, if we have 8 municipalities that we service, and if you look at our largest municipality, which is Manchester Township, that municipality is purchasing about 18 police officers. Now, our smallest municipality purchases less than 2. So when you combine all 8 municipalities together for a complement of 51 police officers, even the municipality that purchases 2 police officers and gets 75 hours of patrol per week, they all have access to the specialties that we are able to provide to our communities. For example, crime scene technicians, advanced accident investigators, a complete cadre of criminal investigators to investigate sex crimes, property crimes, crimes of violence, and so on. So by having the larger force, or all of the municipalities sharing service, we are able to provide a better service to the smaller municipality that by itself would not have access to any of those things.
In any project like this, trying to merge, trying to consolidate, there is the question of bottom line when it comes to the local governments. There has to be a cost saving, is there not?
Well, again, there is a cost saving. If you just take the simplest approach and you look at paying 2 chiefs as opposed to paying 1, there's an immediate savings. The cost to operate under one roof, again, certainly is a far greater savings than operating out of 2 buildings.
While you weren't there, obviously, in '72, but stories have been told. Was it a tough sell at your end at the beginning to try and form your regional police force?
Well, we began in 1972, and I'll tell you, 1972, I was in 3rd grade. So I don't really know, how difficult it was, but I have read a lot of news articles that have been archived from the 70s, and it started out with a group of municipalities, their elected officials, sitting down to talk about this brand new idea of consolidating their police forces. And some of them had existing police forces, some did not. As I look back to 1972, I really give the people that sat around the table a tremendous amount of credit because they were very forward-thinking in bringing the Northern Regional Police Department, to fruition, and also a lot of the basic ideas that laid the foundation for this police department because they've survived for now, well over 40 years. Were there some bumps in the road, some ups and downs? Absolutely. But there's a lot of learning that took place over the last 40 years, And there are a lot of things that have happened in our agency with our municipalities that have really pulled people together very closely, and they understand the importance of how we function.
Readdress, if you would, Chief, from the citizen's point of view, the quality of service from individual departments, in your case, as opposed to regionalization.
Well, again, the individual department, if it's would be a smaller department, there are always limitations on what they are able to provide to their communities. The larger force, the combination of multiple departments, creating a consolidated police force, are going to have access to be able to do things that a smaller agency just cannot. And a lot of those things are relatively simple in the way of training and equipment and expertise.
Chief, you talk about the 3 Ps, one of them being public perception. I'll leave the other 2 to you. Explain the 3 Ps as you endorsed your idea of regionalization at your end.
Well, to move forward with regionalization, it becomes a very difficult challenge because I use a term called the 3 Ps, and at the bottom of the 3 Ps is the public perception. The perception by the public is we will no longer know our police officers, we won't get the same type of service, we won't be recognized as we are today when we walk down the street. And, it takes time with a larger force. It's going to take time for the public to gain trust and confidence, but if they are utilizing their existing police officers, there's very little disconnect that will occur. The police department should be able to attend to the public's needs, hopefully, much better than what was occurring before. You have police personnel, which would be my second P. The police personnel, in many cases, are fearful of losing status, rank, and just their specific job titles within an agency. So it becomes difficult to sell at times to the police officer that this is a good idea and something that really can enhance their careers. On the plus side for the police personnel, the hope would be that they would have increased training, have more and better equipment, and be able to do more for their communities that they can now. And my last P is a political power. Politicians at the end of the day really have the say on whether consolidation or regional policing occurs or if it doesn't occur, because it is their vote. However, they are in many cases strongly influenced by the police personnel and the public perception who may be naysayers about this idea. The politicians at times feel as though they may be losing a sense of identity, and they may be losing power and or their influence over their individual police department. The way the Northern York County Regional Police Department is formed, we have a representative from each of our participating municipalities who is an elected official that sits on our board, which we call our Board of Commissioners. The Board of Commissioners is the governing body over the police department, and each one of the individuals that sits on our board represents their individual municipality. So in essence, there is no loss of power, there is no loss of a voice or loss of control. They are there dictating what is occurring now with a larger police force than their own municipal police force.
Chief, on the palette that you're painting right now, there are apparently a lot of pluses. Are there any concrete minuses to consider when you try to talk about a plan to regionalize?
Well, it's very difficult to convince people that this is the right thing to do. And again, if you look at the 3 areas that I just addressed, the political power, the public perception, and the police personnel, it's a tough sell, because change and many times change and that uncertainty is just too much of a hurdle for people to get over. However, if you can get over that hurdle, you can find that there are going to be a lot of benefits to consolidating the police forces, and one of those big benefits will be a savings of money.
Do you have the public on your side right now? Do you have public support?
I feel we do. Nationally, you know, it's been a rough go for police in the last several months. We have received emails and cards and letters from the public who show very strong support for our police department.
If I were to be sitting on a governmental board and this proposal was presented to me, you know, I would certainly consider the cost factor. The next question is the 2 words, response time. How do how does it affect response time if a department or departments regionalize?
Well, I would say this. Any police department out there, whether it's a 2-man police department or a 2,000-man police department, they know their communities and they know the areas where they are most likely to have a need for service, where they're going to receive the highest amount of 911 calls. We are no different. We take our 150 square miles and we have it broken into small geographic areas. When our police officers depart our building for the day to go out and work, they work in those small geographic areas and they overlap each other. And that allows us to provide a very, very good response time to calls throughout our entire jurisdiction for the communities that we serve.